One. How's it going, everybody? DB Sports back with another game preview this week. We've got Iowa State headed up to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats. I'm joined today by the lovely Connor Ferguson. Connor, how you doing this evening?
No one's ever called me lovely before. This is a
Well,
first.
there we
I'm
go.
I'm excited to be here. Everyone laughs at me because I tell them I'm excited to be on their show. It doesn't. I did a show from Stillwater 2 weeks ago. Just my buddy Trevor Mader down in Shenandoah. He's had me on like 4 times this football season. I tell him every time that I'm excited to be here. It's not a chore to do. I love talking to you. I love hanging out with you.
Yep.
We haven't hung out in a while. We need to do that soon.
Correct.
But yeah, I'm amped to be here, and I am excited for this football game. I think Iowa State's going to win. Come out and say it now. We'll get to that part later. I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. I love Iowa State's chances in this one. Cincinnati been a little up and down this year. They started off really well. They've kind of struggled here the last couple weeks. They did have a bye this past week. But before we dive into the matchup, Connor, we have to talk about the Jack Trice Legacy game. What a show that was, both on the field as well as all the stuff going on outside with all the stuff honoring Jack Trice. But man, what a weekend.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. What Iowa State was able to do for their pregame entrance, and it's crazy that it. I felt growing up, and I've been on Twitter since like 2009, right? I've
Right.
been reading tweets at the very least. I've seen a lot of bad ones in the first like 8 to 10 years. What year is it now?
20.
Still sending bad tweets. Sent one
Yeah.
yesterday. But like I feel like Iowa State's athletic department has never really caved to. I wouldn't even call it pressure because that kind of frames them in a bad light. They just this year they've been so hands on trying to gauge what people want,
Yeah.
and they've done like people. The amount of people that I saw post on our forums at Cyclone Fanatic or on Twitter about Thunderstruck was too short. Come on. And some people are like, well, Chris Williams said on the podcast, so that's why they changed it. I'm like, no, there's no way they're just listening to Chris.
Yeah.
We'd be playing DX to enter every game, straight up. And sure enough, this time they do Thunderstruck. They do a tunnel walk, which effectively you do every game, right? But usually when it's not synced up to the music, then it's not really a true tunnel walk.
Yeah.
And I thought that was sweet. Their pyro show was awesome. It was slightly less as good as the Knoxville Nationals is. And the funny thing is, so Knoxville in 2022, the wind, how like crosswind moves, that's what dictates whether the smoke gets out before the game starts or lingers around. So they did a race, the 2022 Knoxville Nationals, if you go on dirtvision.com and go to Vault, look it up. And it was smoky, right? It was the first lap was smoky. There's a big wreck. My buddy got hurt in the wreck. I don't want to speculate if it was due to the smoke. I don't want to ask him about it. I don't do that. But it was inherently smoky. This year they did a bigger pyro show and it was less smoky. So like the lingering smoke was one thing, and it was kind of this hazy little, feel to it. And you come out in those uniforms, the pantless uniforms, and kick the crap out of TCU effectively. And punt block. It was in the acid trip at halftime.
That was
Quinn described it as.
I was sitting with Levi, Wide Right Natty Light, and we were talking about, they mapped out the marching band, did the run pathing, and Levi and I were
So
looking
they
at each other.
tweeted that out before, and I had no clue. I didn't connect the dots that was going to be Seneca Wallace's run. I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, so we were sitting there, and they like mapped out the run or whatever, and Levi and I just looked at each other. We're like, they got to recreate the block. Like, that would just be so awesome. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it. They got to do the block.
And then you would just have to have someone in a Texas Tech shirt come up and just clock one of the band members.
Yeah. So Levi turns to talk with some other people, and we see Cy and actually a buddy of mine was the guy that got clobbered. And they start walking out in the end zone, and I try, Levi, they're actually doing the block. They're doing the block. And we all start pointing. We're all just yelling, like, do the block. And then they did it. And, oh, man, the halftime show. Credit to the band, man. I don't know who else had a hand in that, but that halftime show was awesome. Complemented the game super well, and fun Saturday night for everybody.
Yeah, I'm not at all starting an investigation here. I don't know where the band got the money to buy all those dinosaur mascot costumes, and I
Dude,
don't know if that's going to be the only. Like, I want them. I want to say like, keep going with this creativity. I love it, but I also don't want them to waste all their money on
yeah,
dinosaur mascot costumes
yeah,
if they don't have to. You know.
yeah. No, and then the giant T Rex or whatever that they had to start out before they ran everybody out there in the like costumes or whatever. Oh man, that was dude. It was just so much fun on Saturday, getting to watch that and like you said, beyond the halftime show, both in the first half was a little shaky. Defense held their own, but the offense didn't really do a whole lot. Got the lead right at the half due to the punt block that I believe it was Porter who now has 3 punt blocks on his career.
Yeah, it's kind of his thing, I guess.
Yeah,
That's all he does is block punts.
yeah, he's got like the active leader in punt blocks or something like that in college football right now. So, if he gets some more of those, Iowa State might find.
If he gets one more, I'm tweeting 17 times.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing stats. We're going to do a graphic of all time.
Exactly. So got the lead at the half, and then it just feels really good having that defense when you have a lead at the halftime because John's going to come out and make big adjustments at the half, which TCU had a couple drives there, but the last one late in the game to make it a 2-score game was basically garbage time. So pretty dominant.
Yeah, and I thought it's, and I've said this on Kicking It, but or on a football and random things. I can't talk today. My brain is mushed today, and it's not good when it's basketball media day and my brain's mush. I can't remember things. But I've said all year with these new clock rules how inherently important and integral it is to play football with a lead.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do. It's not a skill you can just do because you choose to, but to have the clock on your side, every first down is an opportunity to milk the clock now.
Yeah.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. We need like a damn president that listens to people in a lot of ways. Right?
Yeah.
But you have to have the lead to be able to run play call, especially like as the game gets later, that, the need for that goes up is how I should put it.
Yeah. I think there's not really a better example than, just looking at the UNI game. Like Iowa State dominated that game start to finish, won by 3 scores, and ran 45 plays. They didn't have the ball ever, and UNI just couldn't do anything to get back in the game because the clock just runs out so fast that you get that lead, and it just feels like coming back is so much harder now.
My example I would draw is Oklahoma. So that second interception Rocco throws, the offense doesn't come back into the game, back onto the field until they're down 20 points.
Yeah.
Like minutes into the third quarter, right?
Yeah.
I remember that, right?
Yeah.
And Oklahoma chewed up some clock on that drive. I don't know if it was a ton. I feel like in the back of my head it was, but I'm not for certain. But you come back in, you're down 20. You kind of have to score here. Yeah. And we kind of have to do something a little different. We don't want to see another interception. And you're kind of beside yourself because you're calling things that might not be there because you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I just pulled up the quick play-by-play here. We took the kneel at the end of the half, so that won't count that at all.
Yeah,
but
you're a true pro. You got that up way quicker than I ever
would. So Rocco threw the pick. Then Oklahoma had a 10-play drive that was 2 minutes to basically kill the rest of the half, and then they killed another 2.5 minutes and scored to start the second half. And you're down 27 at that point. So it may not have.
27?
Yeah, because you were down.
Oh,
down.
Okay, that makes my point better then.
Yeah, down 13 when he threw the second pick, and then they scored both to end the first half and start the second half.
Yeah, you can't.
So you can't.
Yeah. There's nothing. You're looking at it like, okay, well, if we score really fast here, they're gonna run the clock.
Yeah, exactly. So looking for Iowa State to get a lead against Cincinnati here. Hopefully early, like you said. It just feels more comfortable playing with the lead. How do you see Iowa State and Cincinnati coming up?
So, I don't know when the Texas game was last. So last year for the Texas game, I watched it with my buddy Kurt Schroeder. I always say his name wrong because there's a monster truck driver named Mark Schrader, and he drove
Oh, there you
devastated. Yeah, it rhymed the name with the truck, right?
go. Yeah.
Uh, so Kurt is a regional late model driver from Iowa. He played football at Iowa State. He was a linebacker in the late '90s. I want to say, a walk on. We watched the Texas game together in his RV at I-80 Speedway, Nebraska, at the last race ever held at that track. So that day we're watching we're watching the game. We actually got kicked out of the pits like at the start of the fourth quarter.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they take everyone out of the pits so that they can get their pit passes to go back in. That was a mess and a half. I don't need to explain. I don't need to explain.
No.
So they lost that game in dramatically bad fashion. And I watched another game with Kurt, and it was the Ohio game from a few weeks ago. And I watched that with him at Knoxville. So I'm watching this one with a sprint car buddy of mine, Ayrton Jennison. So hopefully the open wheel, that's the good luck charm we need to get.
Yeah.
Now how I actually see the game, you have a tremendous opportunity in front of you to prove to everyone this team is for real.
Yeah.
You have now swayed the boat from straight into the iceberg for a second straight season to we might clear the iceberg altogether and go to an ice bowl game. And whether it's 6 wins or 8 wins, wherever we end up, it's going to be a party. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
At least if I'm in town. If Chris doesn't let me go, then I'm going to be
Right. Right.
No, but you have it's on the platter for you. Like the motivation to win should, I mean, talk about the Cyhawk rivalry like that. That game you should be motivated to win, but the motivation to win could not be higher going into this one.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, it's your first chance against one of these new teams coming into the Big 12. They've really struggled to start the year. You talk about Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF are all winless in Big 12 play. So, you hate to say that you want to keep them down there, but you do kind of want to keep them down there because, warm welcome to the Big 12, right? Just keep beating
Power five David over here spreading the good word.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. If you're not going to beat Oklahoma and Texas, you might as well beat the new guys coming in. I'm looking at the rushing game here, Connor, because Iowa State's, started to open up some of the running lanes, and I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of what Chris has been talking about. You start to push the ball down the field, those linebackers have to take a step back, those DBs have to take a step back, you start to open up those running lanes.
You're just trying to go Gary Patterson on us here?
Yeah. Maybe. Who knows? But Cincinnati right now 10th in the country in rushing yards per game. And Iowa State typically that 3-man front. Sometimes you can get exposed in the running game. How do you attack that if you're Iowa State and you're John Haycock?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. John Haycock's Kyle Hendricks. Just mow him down.
Just mow him down.
Strikeouts. Yeah, just keep going. No hits. Yep. He's whatever you want to do. I don't know how he does it. I can't read defenses as well as Jeff Woody can. J.R. Singleton though had a great quote to me, and he's I don't usually recommend. If you're a diehard fan, we post every interview that Iowa State gives us as available is posted to the Cyclone Fanatic YouTube.
Yeah.
Go watch the J.R. Singleton one though, because he talks about Jack Trice in the middle, and that was cool to hear what he said about what it meant to him and his family about graduating college and stuff. Then I asked him about the memorial on Sunday. He thought I was asking him about film breakdown with John, and he goes, "This guy's a Hall of Famer. He's the best defensive coordinator of all time." And I was like, I was asking about Jack Trice's memorial. Oh yeah, that was really, really cool too. And it's funny, but he was talking about that, what Cincinnati does on offense. And he's like, I'm eager. I'm so excited to get after that. And his eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas. He's thinking about it. He just can't wait to get there. So I'm excited to see what they do. I think what I'm looking at is actually the run game on the other side of the ball.
Right.
And, God, I'm sorry. Iowa State's run game against Cincinnati's defense. Yeah. Their rushing defense seems to be very stout.
Yes.
I don't know about their passing defense. Does not seem as stout. It's hard to be as stout as they've been, though. Yeah. They've had a couple of good weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really impressed with Cincinnati. I mean, I know it was kind of the first real test for them, but they played Oklahoma real well. I think they lost that game 20-6. They couldn't move the ball on offense.
Yep.
But to limit Oklahoma to 20 points, I know it was a home game for them. It was in Cincinnati, so you've got that added benefit. But Iowa State's going to Cincinnati this week, so if Oklahoma's only putting up 20 there, you're probably thinking that you're going to have to score 20 points. So
yeah, I mean, it's tough. Some of those. I remember this is the first loss of Iowa State I've ever had fun watching, and it was because they were up 7-0 on Oklahoma in the third quarter in 2007. 3-9 football team. Gene Chiswick's the coach. Todd Blythe is being a prima donna, puking in trash cans every practice. I'm just kidding, Todd. And it's 7. I was just proud that they hung with them. It was like my buddy asked me about the Drake game against South Dakota State. I was like, they had a 7-0 lead, 15 seconds in the game. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. And some teams can fool you like that and have a game like that. And I have such a hard time going, this team stinks at this and this, and this is a win for this team. This is a lock. When I haven't seen enough of the team I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen enough out of Cincinnati to trust that they aren't garbage.
Right.
To be quite frank and honest, this team could be the worst team in the Big 12. I will know a lot more after this weekend in the Houston, West Virginia game.
Yeah, for sure. It's really rough because you look at Cincinnati's schedule. They lost to Miami of Ohio, and you're like, okay, now hold on a minute. What are they doing losing to Miami of Ohio? And then you're like, Miami of Ohio is 5-1. Brother. Yeah.
So Brett Gabbert. I learned that today.
Oh, yeah?
I was looking for the rushing stats. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. We had a whole thing in middle school for 6 weeks because the Vikings either beat Blaine Gabbert in week 1 or lost to him and the Jaguars. And we were saying, I think they won. And we were like, Blaine Gabbert's the best quarterback in the league. You can't get anything by Blaine Gabbert.
Right.
But yeah.
How'd that take work out for you?
It was good for 6 weeks.
There you go.
No one, they were 0-1 when we started saying that to all our friends. Me and one of my buddies. I think we got a couple kids thinking a little more highly of Blaine Gabbert in middle school. It's one of the weirdest stories. I can't tell that story anywhere. There's nowhere to bring that up. So
but yeah, you look at they lost to Miami, and then they lose to Oklahoma, and then they lost to BYU, and then they had a bye. So I'm expecting maybe a different Cincinnati team. They've kind of had the bye to think things over here. They've kind of had a bit of a break here. So I'm not saying Iowa State's going to walk into Cincinnati and just roll them, but I do like the matchup. I like coming off of a big win. The Jack Trice Legacy game. I love that. I really like where we're at. Plus, you get the bye week after before you go into Waco, which I really like that bye week placement. So I think there's a lot of stuff to look forward to this weekend. I'm also really excited to see. It felt like to me we kind of reverted back on offense this past Saturday to more of that sort of check down game, more of the 2 and 3 tight end set stuff. And I'm really hoping that
no more Chris Williams air raid.
Yeah, no more air raid. And I was listening to the two guys named Chris, and they were kind of, poking fun at Iowa State tweeted that whole thing out, and it was just kind of a joke and poking fun at everybody. But I do think there's some there's some truth to that.
That's the other thing. The Twitter people are paying attention.
Yeah. I've
gotten pretty far in my investigation. I've hunkered down on a main suspect, but I accused him, and he said LOL. So we might be at the end of the open investigation again. So far my investigations yielded no results, and the other one lasted 3.5 minutes. So Rocco backed Photoshop legs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you see my tweet on that?
I don't think so. No.
He had a trainer cut his socks off at halftime because he was hot or whatever, or cold, whatever. He wanted the socks. So for the first half, he had tights or his socks going up to his knees, and then he didn't have it in the second. And all I had seen at the time were photos of him with the tights on. And I was like, why'd they Photoshop someone else's calves onto Rock? and someone's just like, dude, like, here's a photo of him playing with this. This might have been the photo that you. So I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. Whoops.
That's really funny.
It was his Player of the Week award. Did he
Oh
get
yeah, you got like freshman of the week or whatever.
freshman of the week? Because I knew it wasn't like the Maxwell Award. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many awards.
Yeah.
There's Sean Alexander, freshman of the year. There
Yeah.
we go.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man. I don't even know where I was going with any of that. But
We were talking about the
back.
air raid, and we're back now.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's not an air raid offense, right? Everyone knows
Right.
it's not an air raid offense. An air raid offense runs a little bit less than what Iowa State
Yeah.
runs, and you just got to look at what they're trying to do here, and it's trying to have a run game that complements the pass game and opens the pass game up, and vice versa. And that's what they're trying to create. It's a true balanced type of style of football.
Yeah.
And the caveat is Rocco is really good at deep balls. And I don't know if he's not getting the credit. I don't know if people haven't realized that yet. It is a very small sample size, but his deep balls are, I mean, he's converting a lot of these passes, and I don't think he's getting enough credit for that. And that's kind of where that air raid thing came from, is how long, or Oklahoma State airing it out against them, and being able to carve that defense. I could watch Iowa State. I could watch Mike Gundy versus Matt Campbell every day for the rest of my life.
100%.
Just happy about it.
100%.
Campbell's got a pretty good record in that series, but it is so much fun because they both know exactly how they can beat the other's defense. It's crazy.
Those games are always fun to watch.
I'm glad I connected that back.
Yeah.
Back.
Where I was kind of going with that is I kind of want to see more of that again. Like, I know that it worked against TCU. This kind of
I think we're gonna have to. With the rushing defense that Cincinnati seems to impose, and they've had 2 weeks now to get ready for this game. Right. They know we need to win a Big 12 game. We need to get back in the winning side of the column. Likewise for them, the motivation to win hasn't been higher yet.
Yeah.
But the other thing I did want to say that I forgot to say, they got 2 wins. Eastern Kentucky, as far as Iowa State took Eastern Kentucky's best player. Okay.
Yeah.
And Jaden Higgin.
Yep.
All right. So that's their first one. Their second one is against 1-4 Pittsburgh. That's the only 2.
Yeah.
So prove to me anything, Scott Satterfield.
Right.
Not that you're going into a program that just lost their Keno Davis, their Darren DeVries. I don't know why I went to Drake basketball coaches there, but you have this figure. Yeah, but I know a lot of stuff, and I pull up things, and then people are like, "Oh, he cares about Drake more than Iowa State." That douchebag. And it's like, no, I just care about a lot of things.
Yeah,
That's what it is. You go to the college football playoff, you think this guy's going to lead us to the promised land. We get this Big 12 deal done. Okay, now we don't have to worry about him leaving. Oh, he's going to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Crap, And that, that's a harder program to take over than the we suck ass and, figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I would definitely rather take over a team that's 1-11 every year than a team that was just in the playoff and lost everybody. So
yeah, I can't imagine it is anything easy.
I do not envy that position right now.
No, and I'm excited to see how some of these guys that don't have names yet in college football, how quickly they go in this era, because I think we're kind of turning into a different time here. We're kind of at a just changing of the book, changing of the plays and everything. With just every business I'm involved with is, I feel like I was walking to my door getting ready to do this, thinking about that. I don't know why. I do know why, but we've seen so many people be so quick to pull the trigger and go get a new coach. And I'm wondering if that might change a little bit with how quickly you can fix the team with the transfer portal, or how quickly NIL can help, and what's Cincinnati's base like, and what's this school's base like with this coach that's struggling, and how does Neil Brown, continue this success at West Virginia. And I'm really excited to see a little bit of that. I haven't watched Satterfield's press conference yet, and I call this it's the Greg Biffle effect, David.
Oh yeah.
I never watched every time Greg Biffle was on TV from 2007 to 2013 when I watched him.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything cool.
Nope.
It was the lamest damn interview I've ever heard in my life. And the sad thing is, I've heard way worse and way better. He was probably like middle bar, perfectly fine, nothing I'd complain about today. But I was like, that guy doesn't have a personality at all.
No,
I turned on SRX. He has the microphone for 60 seconds. I was like, that guy's electric. Why did I hate him?
Yeah.
You know, and it's fandom hatred. It's not
right.
Like I hate the person, but I don't know about Satterfield.
Yeah.
I'm just like, where's his personality? I've never seen this guy, never heard a quote that he said, never, left, right, and center. So, and that bad preparation by me. I should watch it by now. But.
Hey, I'm in that same boat. I haven't really watched too much of that either. I am excited for Cincinnati in the Big 12. I'm excited for all these teams coming into the Big 12. There's a part of me that is still concerned with kind of the direction that college football seems to be headed. But that kind of feels like a whole other video if we wanted to do that at some point.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many things that could happen, right? What's going to happen with the Pac-12? Is the NCAA ever going to be organized differently with a president that is listening to people? Or are we going to keep doing this circus show where everything's unfair and everyone gets screwed except Kansas basketball? Yeah. And then are we going to do... is someone going to create another subsect of college sports that isn't governed by the NCAA, that isn't the NAIA?
Right.
They're trying, I guess. But as you've seen, all the names are already established. You can't make your own name now.
No.
And there's just so many questions like that aren't going to be answered tomorrow. And, it's exciting, but it's terrifying because everything about the sport we love right now could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't think NIL has changed it as much as people have feared, and that gives me confidence, but we'll see. You just got to roll with the punches for now and see where things go and hope for miracles to happen if they need to.
Perfect. So before we get into our final score predictions and everything here, Connor, a lot of times to end the show, we do a bold prediction or a hot take for the weekend, something that maybe spectacular happens. But instead of doing that, I have to get your opinion, Connor. We're going to Cincinnati. What are your thoughts on Skyline Chili?
Oh, man. That's bad. I've never had Skyline Chili.
Oh, well, then this point's... I've had it like once.
Not a single time. No. I mean, like... Yeah, I drove by a Skyline Chili. So I played roller hockey out in Cincinnati a couple years ago. Okay. And we were I guess technically out on the town on a Saturday night. And I don't know what part of Cincinnati we were in. Don't ask, don't tweet me and say you're a liar. There's nobody on the road. It was 9:00 p.m. There's nobody, literally not a soul in the street, David, for like blocks on end. And then we go to the sports bar and it's packed. Absolutely packed. And the one thing we drove by that I remember was a Skyline Chili, and it looked worse than any ran down Burger King, any ran down what are some other Bebops, I guess? Not really Bebops. That's not a great example. It just, I'm like, I don't think I would want to eat food from there.
Right.
So yeah, I've never had it in my life. I'm sorry to say.
All right, well that's fine.
I would say the cinnamon roll and chili thing is yuck. I don't know why. Why are we doing that? Why are we? There's no reason to.
I don't know. All right, well, I guess instead of diving into Skyline Chili, we'll get a bold prediction for you this weekend, Connor.
That's fine. I'll go. I hate doing regular scores for score predictions because if I nail it and I nail it with a dumb one, then I feel really smart.
Yeah. For
the one time it would happen anyways. Right. So 17-5. We're going 2008 Cy-Hawk game, but revenge on Iowa State's side now.
I like it. I'll go. I like Iowa State. I think they've got some momentum building now. They kind of figured some stuff out against Oklahoma. They put it to work against TCU there. I'll go 23-15. That's kind of a weird score.
I like it.
23-15.
Yeah. It's weird enough.
Do you have a bold stat that we're going to see on Saturday, Connor?
Yeah, when you said bold prediction, that's where my mind went, and I didn't know who I wanted to spotlight because I'm just going to say I like that player, and I'm hoping he does big things.
Right.
I'm a big Ben Nickel fan.
Okay.
Huge. Yeah, his nickname's Pogo.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
like
like it.
pogo stick. Like
Yeah.
he's got hops.
Yeah.
Uh, I will give him an interception, and he'll lead the team in tackles.
I like it. I like it. Connor, you know me. I'm a
He's
big.
already done that once this year. I would like that on the record as well.
He recovered the punt block on Saturday. Had a
Yeah, and he ran it
yeah.
like 8 yards back.
He had some nice footwork there on the sideline.
He is like that's one of my favorite stories I've seen. I want to tell like the long version of it at some point this year. Just like how many kids actually do that and get on the field.
Yeah.
You know, it's virtually zero. Think
Yeah.
of any, walk on from a community college. I can, like, someone asked me on the Fanatic forums, I named 3 that I could remember from my entire life, and one of them's on a podcast with me. Like, that's the extent of the walk-ons that I remember from growing up. So.
Well, Connor, you know I'm a tight end guy. You know I love me some Ben Bramer. I'll go.
Oh yeah.
I'll go Ben Bramer over 100 receiving yards on Saturday. We're gonna get the tight ends involved.
I'm gonna text my buddy. He's gonna be very excited.
I like it.
Yeah, he's a massive fan of the Iowa State tight ends.
I love it. I think we're gonna set up some of these RPOs, some of these 3 tight end sets over the middle. I like Ben Bramer to be involved a lot on Saturday.
That's one thing too. If you're watching the offense and looking at where Iowa State can improve, and it's with more, we saw some interceptions from Hunter Deckers last year, and I'm not trying to just pile on him or anything here. But there was like, he's not seeing the field, like rookie mistake because he doesn't have enough game experience, this and that, and that's why he's throwing picks. And week 8, week 9 of the season, I don't really trust that. You've been behind Brock Purdy for 2 years. You can learn from Brock. That's just my opinion. I'm stupid. I'm not a quarterback. I don't know how hard it is. So
right.
But with Rocco, in those RPO option plays, I just did the JCM in motorsports. Yeah, never mind. With what they're trying to do there, the better he gets at that, the more capable Iowa State's offense will be. Yeah. It's a major key in my mind. You go back and look at the last play of the Cy-Hawk game. That was one of those plays.
Yep. Love it. So we've both got Iowa State winning. Should be a good game on Saturday. First trip to Cincinnati. Should be a fun one. Connor, do you have any final words for the fans?
I don't know. You go into this, you hope for a big week. We got basketball media days this week. Basketball's around the corner. That's going to be exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope to meet more Iowa State fans, and hopefully we can all chill at a bowl game.
Awesome.
We're power rank your potential bowl game.
Oh, series. God. Honestly, so I saw who was it? Brent McMurphy tweeted out the bowl projections or whatever, and it was Iowa State,
I can do those and slap logos on pieces of paper if people want me to.
It was Iowa State, Colorado, and Shreveport.
Oh, against Colorado.
Yeah, I was like, sign me up. I'd love that. That'd be awesome.
That might be too much of a party for me.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. It'd be so much fun, dude.
No, after they beat TCU, I looked at Rob Gray and I said, hey Rob, fuck walking. We're gonna be running wild in Memphis.
Yeah.
This year. He said round 2, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
It's round 3 for a lot of people. I didn't go to the first one.
Yeah,
I would like Memphis. I would love Shreveport. Never been to Louisiana before. Everything else is below that, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Alamo Bowl and being close to the Dallas Stars, maybe I get a Dallas Stars home game out of it. That might be up there. Yeah,
it'd be a big one.
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Excited.
All right. Well,
that's all. I've mentioned every sport I care about outside of college. Oh, arena football is also cool.
There you go.
That's it. We hit them all.
We hit them all. We rounded the bases. We got the MLB postseason going on.
It's the cycle.
The
podcast cycle.
And we hit it in the last 4 minutes. So I'd say we did a pretty good job of that.
Absolutely.
Iowa State coming out on top, we both think. Should be a fun game in Cincinnati. To everybody listening, thank you for watching and listening and tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, click subscribe. Go check out the previous video with John Walters. Talked about Jack Trice a whole heck of a lot.
I've followed John.
Yeah, you followed John.
This is terrible.
No. You did great.
I'm screwed. Oh no, I'm getting a lot of hate on this episode.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Drop in the comments how much you loved Connor tonight, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.